Om Shanti. Let's sit quietly and reflect for some time before we begin the session. Keep your body still and loosen up a bit. Every organ is relaxed. My posture is straight and my body is absolutely still. Now take your attention to your toes, and from there upwards to every part of your body. Mentally become aware of your toes, legs, stomach, shoulders, neck, face, eyes, and in between the two eyes, there is a sort of pathway through which you enter inside. Let your awareness pierce through the center of your eyes and reach a point behind the eyes where you see yourself. A small star. This is you, the light, the consciousness that is the master of this body. You are the being driving this humus. Just see yourself, the thinking, experiencing energy point, the soul that is the master of the body. This body is like a car, and behind the eyes is the driving seat where you, the master, sit and drive this body. See yourself a small, shining, radiant, conscious point of light, creating thought, experiences, evaluating, discerning, deciding, and operating through this body. You are the light. You are the one, the being in the body. Just sit in this awareness for some time. Om Shanti. So, could you follow whatever I was saying? How many could follow? Just raise your hand a little. Okay. So if you just try to be guided by my voice and try to mentally travel as I say, then you will reach that point within yourself, which is the point of consciousness. And this, what we just did, is called guided meditation, or a meditation or an experience where you are guided by somebody's voice and you come to an awareness of something which you normally don't become aware of. Now, what we just did in the meditation, we will understand. You see, we have been conditioned to believe that we are this body. So whenever somebody asks you, who are you? How do you introduce yourself? You start with your name, and obviously they can see what gender you are, or they can see what's your age or height or weight, and then they can then you also tell them how educated you are, or what is your degree, or what work you do, or where you are positioned, and you are traveling in some car or some vehicle, and they know what car you own, and then you give them your address, and they know which locality you live in. So all of this comprises mostly your introduction of yourself to the other. Now, all these factors that we think are part of our introduction need a little revisiting. So we need to just check whether this is all there is to us or there is more to us. Now you see, this normal way or conventional way of thinking is what we practice and what we use in our day-to-day life. But when you come to a session here in Brahma Kumaris, so I would first like to tell you that whatever I am going to share with you henceforth is not coming from a human source. So this is not some motivational lecture, or this is not something that is just to prep you up, or just to make you feel better, or just to tell you that you don't think like this, you think like that. But whatever I will share onwards comes from God. So, and God is called the truth. So you say God is Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So He is the truth. And He tells us the truth of who we are. And whenever I share whatever God has shared with humanity, so you need to think about and evaluate whether what you believed until now is true, or what today you are listening, although it sounds new and unfamiliar. You have to discern and evaluate which one of them makes more sense to you. Now, when I start sharing the ideas that God has given about yourself, so you see, we have been operating with these ideas that I am a male or a female, or a youth or a child or an elderly, or an engineer or a doctor, or rich or poor, or educated, uneducated, for so long. And still, with these ideas considered to be truth, we are in a very miserable place today. So, when the product is not good, the process needs to be rechecked. So, as humanity, we have all been working with these concepts and with these ideas that our body and our age and our gender and our social status or religious status, these things define us. But now that we have all collectively come to a very miserable place by believing in these things, we need to reevaluate whether that is true or not true. Now, see, when somebody dies, then people say, wo chal base. So that person has left. So then who has left? Because the body is still lying there. So then who is the one who left? That is the question that arises. Or when somebody is taken into the operation theater by the doctor, then the doctor would say, bring the patient in, and then the patient would move in. But then when the patient dies on the operation theater, then the doctor won't say take the patient out, he would say take the body out. So, where is the patient? So, the patient has died, the doctor would say, and take the body out. So, then it's just a body. Then, who is it that we call the patient? So, these are questions that we need to ask ourselves. And then, if this body is all there is to me, then I would like you to think about three questions. The first question is it possible that your mind is in a different place than your body? So, may your body is sitting somewhere and your mind is somewhere else. Is that possible? Just raise your hand and let me know if that is possible. Yes, it happens all the time. So I hope it's not happening right now and your mind is where your body is. But then this is what happens most of the time, that your body is sitting somewhere and your mind is elsewhere. And then sometimes you ask people, where are you? So they are sitting in front of you, and then you ask, where are you? Or are you with me? You are talking to somebody and you ask them, are you still with me? So the body is sitting there, but the mind is elsewhere. And when the mind is not in the same place as the body, then where are you? Are you where your mind is, or are you where your body is? So, if you think, you will understand that you are more with your mind. Even if your body is sitting here and your mind is elsewhere, then your experience of reality is where your mind is. So then you are more with your mind and not with your body. So you are definitely not your body. Then the second question is, you see, we can see with these eyes, we can hear with these ears, and the body becomes an instrument for seeing or hearing some whatever is going on in your surrounding. But then, can your body go into the past? Your body can't go into the past, but you can go into the past. Your body can't go into the future, but you go into the future. Your body can't see in a dark room, but you can see in a dark room. Even when it gets very dark, you can get up and fetch the candle or the matchstick, or you can go and open the door if somebody is on the door, even when it is pitch dark. So even when your eyes can't see, you can see. Even when your ears can't hear, sometimes you can hear what the other person is trying to tell you, because the ears can hear words, but who understands the idea behind those words? So just like I'm talking to you, and you are not only hearing the words that I speak, but also the ideas that is encapsulated in these words. And these ideas, these concepts, who is it who is understanding these things? So that is the buddhi. So you are, so the mind can experience a different reality other than where the body is. The buddhi can go into the past, the buddhi can go into the future, the buddhi can go into another person's head and understand what they are trying to tell you, or the buddhi can see in the dark, or there are other things that the buddhi can do, like you can pay attention to something that is not happening around you. So maybe the television is turned on and you are tuned into something that is happening in America, and then your buddhi is able to create an experience of something that is happening in America, whereas physically you are sitting here. Or when the TV is also turned off, your buddhi can travel far and wide, and you can experience things that are not happening in and around you or are not perceptible to the five senses. So this is something that makes you think that you are much larger and far beyond this body. So you are not limited to this body. You are bigger and wider, and you extend beyond this body. Then the third question is, now that you are talking to me or you are listening to me, see, you may see the body with your eyes, but then who are you actually talking to? You are not talking to the body, or you are not listening from the body. You are listening to my personality, and you are listening to whatever is there in my sanskar, or whatever is there inside me, and in the form of ideas and in the form of whatever I have made myself into. And tomorrow, if I come and sit in front of you and I wear the same sari and I speak the same language, but I behave differently, then you would tell me, Sister, you have changed. So I would say, no, I have not changed. I look the same, I sound the same. So, but you would say, no, you have changed. And where is that change? That change is not in how I look or how I talk. That change is in the one you are connecting with right now. So you are not connecting with just the physical aspect. You are connecting with the whole personality. So you are much bigger than your body. You are much larger, and you encompass more than what is visible to these five senses. So you have the mind, the buddhi, and the personality, or the sanskar that we call the personality in Hindi. So these are the subtle aspects of you. And who are you? You are the consciousness which, when leaves the body becomes dead. So you are the consciousness, the light, the being, the energy that is driving this body. And you have three faculties or three powers, which are the man, buddhi, and the sanskar, or the mind, buddhi, and the sanskar. Okay, so this is something that we need to understand about ourselves. Now you see why we need to make a distinction between whether I am this body or I am this soul or this spirit or this consciousness or this energy or this being is something to be understood first. All our problems that we are experiencing, and primarily the stress that you are experiencing for which you are attending this session, is because of body consciousness. So, you are a soul who has started believing that you are a body. And this is why all the stress, all the negative feelings are arising. Today, I will try to explain what makes me say so, and then from tomorrow, we will explore what soul consciousness means. Now, you see, um, if I ask you to take half a minute and just close your eyes and think about everything that you think belongs to you. So, starting from the body to other people that you think belong to you, and your degrees and your status and position, money, everything that you think belongs to you, just scan it with your mind and just visit everything. Just see everything that you think you own. And then ask yourself one question: what among all of this will never change or never perish? What among all of this will never change or never perish? Shanti. So, is there anything that you can think of which will never change or never perish, which you call your own? So, can anybody come up with anything of this sort? Now, don't tell me the soul, because you don't think you are a soul until now. So, so education. So, education also, once you take a degree and then that degree is challenged, or people will tell you that that university was a fraud, and then the degree you obtained is no longer valid, then your education, mostly in the form of a degree, has no power then, right? And experience also. So experience is something. So experience you so, experience also, after a certain point of time, when you look back and see your experience, sometimes that also changes. So, for example, if somebody was very kind and nice to you, and then you come to know that they had a selfish reason for doing that, then your experience of that same phenomena changes. Then, so these are the things. So, and mostly something that you can see and hear and touch and perceptible to five senses, which you call your own, doesn't belong to you because it is changing. So if something can change or perish without your permission, then you have no right to call it your own. So, whatever is your own must obey your command, right? So, anything that doesn't obey your command cannot belong to you. So, anything that is around you doesn't seek your permission to change or perish. So, how do you think you own it? So, you own nothing here, because everything has a flow and everything has its own journey. And you don't have any control over anything outside. Do you recognize this? You don't have any control over the multitudes of things that you call your own, and they don't obey your instructions or your will, and they change whenever they want to change. They have their own journey, and you have no influence whatsoever on them. So, this is the thing that we need to understand. Now, I will tell you a very beautiful cycle of loss, sadness, anger, and fear. If you see, these are the four primary negative emotions that every person experiences these days. Now, do you experience a loss, sadness, anger, and fear? Do you experience these four emotions? I'm sure all of you do. Now, why do you experience this? Because of body consciousness, because you think that you own something physical. So, this is why you experience these four things. You think you own your body, or you are your body, or you own the things you own and they belong to you. And because of this belief system, this body consciousness, you experience these four states. Now, you see, let's say you visited a mall, and in that mall you saw a beautiful vase, and when you saw that vase, it caught your attention and you developed a liking for it, and then you thought, I should buy this, and you spent 5,000 rupees on that vase, and you brought it home, and you very carefully situated it in some corner of your drawing room and said, my drawing room looks beautiful with this vase. This vase now belongs to me. And then somebody comes and accidentally they become the instrument for that vase to fall down. Now, when that falls down, you experience a sense of loss. Why do you experience that sense of loss? Because first you created a sense of ownership. So that vase was sitting in the mall, and then you had no ownership over it, and you had nothing to do with it. But now you brought it home, you spent something on it, and then by spending, you started creating this belief system that this vase belongs to you. And then when it falls down, you experience a sense of loss, right? Then, when you experience a sense of loss, there is a sadness that you feel because you think you lost something. And then, because you can't handle that sadness, you blame that person who pushed the vase, or because of whose touch the vase fell down. And then you blame that person and you change your sadness into anger. And then you say, this person is the reason why this vase fell, and I'm very angry on this person. And then next time, when you go to the mall and you see a beautiful vase, you have fear that no, I don't want to spend another 5,000 rupees and again experience that loss and sadness because vases fall. So now that anger is changed into fear the next time you go and visit the mall. So this is the cycle of a false sense of ownership leading to a sense of loss, leading to a sense of sadness, then a feeling of anger, and then a feeling of fear. And this cycle keeps continuing because every time you attach yourself with something, you think this belongs to you, and you start investing in it by thinking that you own it, or it will behave according to the way you want, or it will last and give you security or peace or love or whatever, or add beauty to your surroundings. And with that hope, whenever you invest, then you experience a sense of loss, because just because you think something belongs to you or someone belongs to you, their journey does not change. The vase has a journey of its own. It's meant to be one day and not be one day. And then, because you desire it to stay longer, it doesn't stay longer. So, nothing in the world behaves according to your expectation or your desire. So, even if you create a belief that this thing or this person will behave according to my wishes, or they will stay as long as I want, they have a journey of their own. And you only experience a sense of loss and sadness because you create this false sense of ownership. Similarly, about the body. So, this body is there, but you are not this body, because this body doesn't even behave according to you. So, even if you want your body to always be healthy, there is a definite pattern that the body follows, and sometimes it will be healthy, sometimes it will fall ill, sometimes there'll be some problem with the body that will occur even if you want it or don't want it. And then the body has its own journey. Now, when you, the consciousness, attach yourself with the body and say, this is my body, then every time there is a change in the body, you experience a sense of loss or disappointment or disheartenment, and you feel sad. And then you find out the reason why, so that you can blame it on somebody. So, sometimes you blame it on the weather, sometimes you blame it on somebody else who didn't take care of you, or sometimes you blame it on the virus. But then that is how the body has to behave. That is the journey of the body. So, do you understand that everything around you has a journey of its own? And there is nothing, just like you said, that there is nothing physical which will never change or never perish. And what is our relationship with change? Our relationship with change is very antagonistic. We don't like change. And whenever there is change, we feel a sense of loss, because we think that things will stay the way they are right now, or they will only change the way I want them to change. But they don't behave the way you want them to. And then you experience a sense of loss, then sadness, then anger, and then fear. And then when you keep doing this, so whatever you keep doing for a long time becomes your habit. So, yesterday I told you these words: thoughts, feelings, attitude, action, and habit. So, if you keep thinking in a certain way, then you create a habit of thought. If you keep feeling a certain way, that is called a habit of feeling. Then, if you keep having a certain attitude for some time, you will create a habit of attitude. And if you keep behaving for a long time in a certain way, that will create a habit of behaving. For example, if you keep thinking all the time, I lost this, then this sense of loss will become a habit with you. And then every time, at the slightest opportunity, you will feel that I lost, because you have created a habit of thought and feeling of loss. And then, if you always create an attitude that I'm the victim or everybody is doing wrong to me, then this becomes a habit. So, whatever you do repeatedly, whether in terms of thought, feeling, attitude, or action, it will become a habit. And if you see, we don't only have habits of action, but we have habits of thought, we have habits of feelings, habits of attitude and also of action. Now, habit of action. You see, ever since this lockdown started, most people started getting up late, or most people started creating other habits of indiscipline or not doing things in time. And now, even when they have to go back to work, or some kind of rescheduling has to take place, they find it very challenging because they have created a habit of action, a habit of waking up late or not doing things in time. So that has become a habit. So whatever you do for n number of times becomes your habit. Now you see, about habits, habits are very interesting. So you think something, you feel something, you have an attitude of a certain kind, or you behave in a certain way for the first few times because there is a reason for it, right? So there is a reason. So there is a trigger outside which makes you think in a certain way, feel in a certain way, or have a certain attitude or behave in a certain way. For example, if it is a holiday, then you wake up late. So there is a reason why you woke up late. Or if somebody is shouting at you, then you feel angry. So there is a reason why you feel angry. But if you keep doing this same thing for a few times, then it becomes your habit. And then it has got nothing to do with the stimulus outside. Even if there is no stimulus outside, your habit makes you think, feel, have an attitude, and behave in a certain way because that is your habit now. Let's take an example. See, once one brother came to me, and he was around 65 years of age, and he said, Didi, I experience a lot of anxiety, and I don't have any work from morning until evening these days. So even if I don't do anything and I just sleep, it will be okay. I have two sons, and I used to run a company, and that company belongs to the family now. So my son is taking care of the company very well. The next son that I have is very well placed in the government sector. So basically, there are no worries. People say anxiety is because of worry, but I tell you, I have no reason to worry. There are finances which are in a good space. My both children are well settled. They are taking care of me. They are respectful, loveful, everything. But still, right from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, I feel very, very anxious. I don't know why. And then what I do in this anxiety is I keep troubling myself and also other people around me. So even when there is no reason for me to worry or be hasty or fret, I keep doing this, and I also don't allow anybody to stay in peace. So if my children are sleeping and it's a Sunday, I'll go to their room and wake them up and say, it'll get late, you get up, get up, get up. And then everybody is suffering because of me, and I'm suffering because I am suffering and I'm making other people suffer. So please give me a solution for this, and also tell me, when there is no reason to worry, why am I anxious? So I told him, when did you stop working? So he said, it's been 5 years. So I said, and before that, what did you do? So he said, you see, sister, I started from a very ordinary setting. So I didn't have much money at my disposal. So I worked very hard to earn and build the empire that I did. So all around, I was stressed and tensed and always thinking about what if this didn't turn out well? What if that didn't turn out well? So I have always lived my life in a very stressed and anxious manner. So I said, you see, when you create stress and anxiety or worry or fear or any of these emotions in one situation, then after a point of time, they become part of your personality or they get etched into your habit. Then what happens is, even when now there is no situation around you which stresses you or which makes you worry, you still operate from that habit because you have created that habit over a period of 60 years. And 60 years is not a short time. So now, even when there is no reason to worry, you will still worry because that has become a habit with you. So, have you heard of this phrase, habits die hard? So, this habits die hard is very true. And whatever habit you create in one situation stays with you. So, the situation will come and go. People around you who are becoming the trigger for you to think or feel or have an attitude or behave in a certain way will come and go, but whatever you do in that time will stay with you as a habit. And this is why you should have a very sound vigilance over what habits you are creating. So you should be very careful about what sanskar am I forming in this situation. For example, right now there is the coronavirus and everybody is talking and discussing about the fear that this coronavirus is making us feel, or the possibilities of loss, or the possibilities of something wrong happening which this coronavirus can cause. Now, by listening to all of these things, what are we creating? We are creating thoughts based on fear, we are creating fearful feelings, and we are creating attitudes of fear, right? And even if the virus goes away tomorrow, these thought patterns, these patterns of feelings, and these patterns of attitudes will stay with us. Do you understand this? So, even when there is a situation outside, you should be very careful about how you are thinking in the face of that situation, what feelings you are creating, or what attitudes or actions you are creating in that situation. Because no situation stays forever. Situations come and go. People come and go, but what we create in their presence stays with us. So, I have seen people who, so I will tell you of one brother, and he was taking anxiety pills, and he told me that, Didi, when I was young, my elder brother introduced me to a business. So the very first day he came to me, this is the first thing he told me. Okay. So when he entered, he told me, Didi, when I was young, so my elder brother introduced me to a business and I worked with him for 5 years, and I put in and invested all my talent, my time, energy into that business, and then he kicked me out. And then when he kicked me out, I was very miserable. And then it took me 10 years to find my ground. And I have toiled and sweated ever since. And now I have a very big business of my own. And I'm the proud owner of a company. And I have a lot of resources and everything at my disposal. But I am very much in pain and I can't sleep and I'm always worried. So I told him, you see, how many years has it been since your brother did that to you? So he said, it's been 30 years, Didi. So I said, you see, it's been 30 years. But those 5 years which you spent with your brother and whatever happened in that one moment. So maybe you felt that your brother betrayed you, or he did what he shouldn't have. You have been thinking about that for 30 years, and so many good things have been happening in those 30 years. There has been progress, there has been success, there has been achievement, accomplishment, but you have missed out on all those things for 30 years because you have been constantly thinking about what your brother did 30 years back. And this thought pattern has now ended up in a feeling, in an attitude, in a habit, in a personality trait, which is making you feel miserable even after so much of success and attainment and accomplishment. So, we should be very careful about what we think, how we feel, because it is not what is externally going on around us, but what is going on inside here, which determines the quality of our life. So, whenever we think that we own something or we have a bitter relationship with change, so you should understand that even if you are very good with people, it is not necessary that they will reciprocate in the same manner, because change is the only constant. So people will change, situations will change. Even if you put in your best, sometimes you will not get what you expect. But then that is just change. That is just part of nature. So you don't own anything. You cannot determine the circumstances. You cannot put a finger on some result that you want to expect, because everything has a journey of its own. But you are not that. You are this, the consciousness that you are. And you have your mind, you have your buddhi, and you have your sanskar. And it is your prerogative to choose how you want to think inside, how you want to feel inside, what kind of attitude you want to adopt, and what kind of sanskar you want to create. So you don't own the world, so you cannot determine what happens in the external world. You cannot decide what flow the external world takes, because that flow is not in your control. But you are the master of your inner world, and you are the soul who has the mind, who has the buddhi, and who has the sanskar. And you have complete right over your mind. So you can think the way you want, you can create attitudes and beliefs the way you want, and you can create habits or sanskars of your choice. So you should know what you have control over and what you don't have control over. So even if you say, this is my body, this is not true, because whatever is yours must obey you. So your body is not obeying you, and it cannot obey you, because that is not yours. That is something that belongs to this world. You are the soul, and the truth is the mind belongs to you. And even if the body is not functioning well, you have your mind, and you can create a positive, powerful, peaceful thought in your mind, even if the body is not well. So you should know what you have control over. The first day I told you that, God, please grant me the serenity to accept that which I cannot change, the courage to change that which I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, this is why God, who is called the wisest of the wise, who is called the source of wisdom, tells us what is actually in your control and what is not in your control. The body, people, situations, they are not in your control. But what is in your control? Your thoughts, your feelings, your attitudes, and your actions. They are in your control. So we better take care of that. And if you just take this one point and imbibe it, that I am a soul, and I have a mind, I have a buddhi, and I have my sanskar, and they belong to me, and I have full sway, full right over them, not upon anything else in the world. So I cannot choose this situation, but I can choose how to think about it. I cannot choose the person's behavior, but I can choose what attitude to have towards that person. So if you just take this point and practice it, then your quality of life, which is actually the quality of experience of life that you experience on the inside, will shift drastically. Okay, Shanti, we will have a meditation. First, let us take two questions which are there. How will we track the development of this new habit? Just see what change in habit you are creating. So, every day you have to assess. So, what am I doing today? Have I been doing since 5 days in terms of thought, feeling, attitude, and behavior? And you will know what habit you are forming. What if during a particular difficult situation we feel we are not that capable to deliver and face that situation? This fear kills me a lot. Yes, so tomorrow I will tell you about the qualities of the soul. So you should know that as a soul, you are capable of facing whatever you are given to face with. So, as a soul, you are always more powerful than the situation. So, when you are soul conscious, this is a law that the universe never presents you with something that you can't deal with. So, a soul is always presented with only and only that which it is capable of dealing with. So, once you understand this law, you know that you are a soul, and whatever situation you are presented with, you are always more powerful than that situation, because this is the law, and this law is always true. So, then you will muster that courage, and then you will be able to come up with the courage and the wisdom and the wit to deal with that situation. Because when you believe you can, then you pull out all that you need to be in a position of I can. Okay, Shanti, let's meditate for some time. Sit still and bring your awareness to your face. Just mentally see your face. This face is a part of my body. This is my body, but I am not the body. Now, through the point between your eyes, take your attention to yourself. I am the soul, the star of light, sitting behind the eyes. I am a thinking, experiencing being. My eyes see, but what to see, how to see, and what to think as I see is for me to decide. I, the soul, decide where to focus my eyes, perceive that which I see, and what thoughts and feelings to create about it. In my mind space, I project whatever my eyes can see, but I am free to use my camera of the eyes and create whatever image I want to. I am the master of my mind. The external world is projected onto my mind by me. I have full discretion how I want to see things, how I want to think about them. I create beautiful and peaceful thoughts in my mind. Let me take a second and create a thought. I'm beautiful. My mind is filled with this thought. I'm like the star, continuously radiating the light of peace, the light of purity. What is more beautiful than a star? I am a star. I am very beautiful. Let me sit with this thought for some time. Om Shanti.